All right, so we're going to go over 6.1 homework. And for those of you at home, let's go ahead and check all the homework. Does everybody have a blue pen? Okay, so you're going to check your homework in blue pen. And you can, at this point, you can't change anything on it, but you can write your change if you want to in blue pen. And then I'm going to pick them up and I will grade it. So we're on page 326. This is 6.1. And okay, and let me know and we can discuss it. All right, number 1. Okay, says describe the graph of an inequality in the form of x is greater than or equal to a. So it's the set of points on a number line representing all real numbers greater than or equal to a. Now you may have some things similar along those lines, and that's fine. Okay, but the point is you're saying you're picking all values that are greater than or equal to a. All right, number 3, decide whether to use an open dot or a solid dot to graph the inequality. Okay, 3, open, 5, solid, 7, solid. On number 9, okay, it says tell whether the arrow of the graph of the inequality points to the right or the left. On number 9, it's pointing left, 11, left, 13, left. 15, it says write the verbal phrase. And you guys might say different things, but the terminology they're sort of looking for is all real numbers. Okay, all real numbers less than 8 is for 15. And you could have said values maybe.
I said numbers less than 8.
Numbers less than 8. Okay, that's fine. All right. 17, again, all real numbers greater than or equal to 21. Okay, 19. Is a solution. 21 is a solution. 23, you're matching it with D. D is in dog. 24, you're matching up with A. 25 is matching with F. 26 is matching with B. 27, C. 28, E. 29, you had to just tell which number you would add or subtract from each side of the inequality to solve it. You're going to be subtracting 11 from each side on 29. On 41, you end up with x is less than 2, and you would have a number line where you'd have a hollow dot over 2 and the arrow going off to the left.
And what was 29?
29 was subtract 11. They asked like what number you would add or subtract from each side.
Oh, I only wrote subtract from each side, so should I take off half a point for that?
Mm-hmm. Okay. 43, you should have ended up with F is less than 24. You'd have a hollow dot on the 24, arrow going off to the left. All right, and that's 6.1. All right. I don't know how many are on here. Just put at the top minus how much you got wrong. All right, and if you got nothing wrong, say minus 0. Okay, and let me collect your 6.1. Okay, so how much did you miss?
So I'm supposed to, do you want me to take off half a point for not saying all real numbers?
No, that's fine. Yeah, so. Okay, all righty. Thank you. All right, so moving on to 6.2. There you go. Page 333. All right, number 1. It says, explain what reverse the inequality means. It means that to reverse the inequality means to change the direction of the inequality sign. Okay, so for a greater than sign would become less than, and vice versa. Usually it would be in the connection with multiplying through or dividing through by a negative number. All right, number 2, are the inequalities that they give you there, are they equivalent? No, they're not. Number 3, it says, okay, describe the first step you would use to solve the inequality. You would multiply both sides by 5, and then you do not reverse the inequality symbol. Number 5, you would multiply by 2, and you don't, wait a minute, that's 4. You would divide by 4 and don't reverse. Number 7, multiply by -6, and you would reverse the inequality. Number 9, what is 9? Oh, could tell whether the inequalities are equivalent. No, they're not. And explain your reasoning that they didn't reverse the inequality. Okay. Number 11, yes, they are equivalent. Okay. Number 13, whoops, is that right? Okay. 11, yes, 13. Not equivalent, okay, because you'd end up with x is less than or equal -3 once you reverse the inequality. 15, you would multiply by 3 and you do not reverse. 17, multiply by 2, do not reverse. 19, divide by -7 and you reverse the inequality. 21, you would divide by -3 and you would reverse the inequality. What is next? Is it, you guys get 23?
Yeah.
Okay, I have like a note to myself, which I can't, oh, I see what I'm doing. Okay, so you're going to multiply both sides by 6 and then maybe -1, or you might do it by -6, in which case you're going to end up reversing the inequality.
Wait, what is 23?
23 is, you're going to, what's going to happen is if you multiply by 6 to get rid of the denominator, you'd end up with a -z, and then ultimately you'd have to divide or multiply through by -1. So you would have to reverse. You'd end up with z greater than equal to 6. So yes, you're reversing the inequality.
They're asking for the solution.
Oh, okay, whoops, I'm not reading the directions. Oh, is that a solution? Oh, what did I do? Okay, tell what the graph is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is a solution. Okay, I didn't read the directions. Okay, 25, z is greater than equal to 6, and that is a solution. Okay, 33. Okay, the error analysis, they did not reverse the inequality.
Wait, switch or do not?
So they did not. So, they divided through by -3 and then they did not end up reversing the inequality. So that was the error for 33. And 34, what did they do? Okay, multiply by -2. Oh, okay, -2 times 0 is what? 0. That's what they did. That's what they did wrong there. They got -2. Okay, and then 35, solve the inequality and then graph the solution. Okay, in 35 you'd have p is less than 4, hollow dot, moving, and then the line moving off from the 4 to the left.
What was 34 and 35?
34 was they messed up the multiplication on the right side. And so when they multiplied by -2 on both sides, they got -2 times 0, and they ended up with a -2 when it should have been 0.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. 35 was p is less than 4.
Okay.
Okay. All right, any other questions on that? Okay, so let me pick that up. And how did well, I guess I taught you all 3 sections, didn't I? Or mostly. So you guys didn't really have to do self-study, did you? Okay. All right, last one. This is very exciting, I know. 6.3. Let's see, where did I do with my 6.3? I'm not finding it. That's strange. Okay. I got gremlins in my notebooks. Okay, so I'm missing 6.3. All right, let me see what the assignments are. All right, hallelujah. Here we go. Okay, 339. 1 through, okay, 339. All right, here we go. Explain why 3a plus 6 is greater than is a multi-step inequality. It says you first have to subtract 6 on each side and then divide each side by 3 to solve the inequality. So it's more than one step. All right, number 2, describe the steps you'd use to solve the inequality. Okay, so you're going to subtract 2 from each side, then divide each side by -3 to isolate the variable y. And then what would you have to do if you're going to divide by each side by -3? Reverse the inequality. All right, number 3 says this is not a multi-step. You're simply going to subtract 2. Number 5 is not a multi-step. You're just going to divide by -4. Yeah, I have it on Canvas. And then number 9, 6.3.
So for 5, does it count as a step to flip the inequality?
No, not
Okay.
really. It's just it has to do with the algebra itself.
Wait,
So
3 was not a multi-step?
right, because you're just subtracting 2. If you're just using one mathematical operation, it's not multi-step.
And for
It has to have like addition and multiplication or something like that.
For number 8, I said it was like explain why it's a multi-step and then I said because A must be alone and positive. I didn't like say the steps, but I said why it must be.
Oh, so
multi-step.
okay. So determine whether it is a multi-step, and then it says explain how you would solve it. Okay. That's so on number okay, so number 3, it's not multi-step, but you would solve it by subtracting 2. Okay, so number 5 is it's not multi-step, you're going to divide each side by -4 and reverse the inequality. Reverse the inequality doesn't count as a step. All right, number 9, and don't worry about if you got that wrong as you're counting that, don't count that off, just as an FYI. All right, number 9 is multi-step. You're subtracting 2 and then multiplying by 2. Number 11.
Wait, what was that? What was it?
Which number 9?
Yeah.
Okay, it's multi-step. You're subtracting 2 and then you're going to multiply by 2.
I did divide by 2, so that'd be...
Well, you can't. If you're going to divide by 2, then you're going to end up with 1/4 there instead of 1. Okay, dividing by a half would have been more accurate. Okay, you're either remember you're going to divide by the fraction, or you're going to multiply by its reciprocal to get rid of it. Okay.
So would that be like -1/2?
Yeah, I'd say if you get one of the steps wrong. Okay, number 11 is multi-step. Subtract 2w, subtract 2, divide by 4. And you might have them in slightly different order, and that's okay. You know, if you decided that you were going to, add 1 or something like that instead. Okay. 13. Okay, then you had to fill in the blanks on these. All right, so on 13, so you have the first row. 7 is less than 14 minus k. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to subtract 14 from both sides. Okay, so that's your first row. Second row, you're going to simplify that. You're going to get a -7 is less than -k. And that you're going to multiply by -1 on each side. And it's going to be -7 there inside there. And then the last one's going to be 7 is greater than k. So you had to reverse the inequality.
A lot different order, but I still got the same answer.
So were you following these little blocks on 13?
I thought it was.
Okay, if you end up at the right place, it's fine. Okay, all right, 15. All right, what it says, describe the steps you would use to solve. Okay, so subtract 11, divide by -2, and reverse the inequality. All right, 19.
What if you said, I didn't say reverse the inequality. I just said divide by -2 and minus 11.
Knock off a quarter.
Okay.
Okay, so they really want you to remember that. All right, 19. Okay, you guys can do this a couple of different ways, okay? You could divide by 6 to start off with on both sides instead of doing the distribution, and then add 2. Or you could distribute the 6, then add 12 and divide by 6. So you got 2 different paths there. All right, 23, you're going to end up with 7, 6 is less than or equal to x. 27,
Wait, what was 23?
7, 6, 7 over 6 is less than or equal to x. Okay, bless you. 27, x is greater than or equal to -3. All right, 29, matching. 29, C. 30 is B. 31 is A. All right, 33. Okay, that one you're just solving inequality. X is less than 12. 39, you're going to have x is greater than 1/2. All right, 42, error analysis. It says add 4 to each side in the second line. X should be greater than or equal to -1. What did they do? Oh, okay. So what did they do wrong?
They added 4 instead of subtract.
They added, well, adding 4 was correct. They added 4 to the left side, but what do they do to the right side?
They mix up the sides.
They subtracted it. Okay, because if they'd added 4, they would end up with a -4 there, not a -12. Okay, on the right side. Okay. All right, 43. In line 2, distribute the 4 over the -1. Okay, so what should they have gotten in the second line if they distributed the 4 properly over the parentheses?
-4.
Yeah, it'd be 4f minus 4, right? And then what about on the right side? What should have happened if they distribute the 3, Lydia, over the parentheses? What should they have gotten?
Should be 6f plus 3.
Yeah. Okay.
For the for problems like these, are we supposed to point out like the first thing they did wrong?
Well,
And then
okay, so let's read it because these are the instructions. It says find and correct the error. So ultimately, you're working through the problem itself. So, and then ultimately, you're going to end up with f is greater than -7/2.
Okay.
And the other one, I didn't read it. X is greater than or equal to -1. Okay, for the one before. All right, so 44. Okay, so this one, amusement park charges $5 for admission and $1.25 for each ride ticket. You have $25. How many ride tickets can you buy? This is that kind of mixture of things again, except with an inequality in it. And they gave you the verbal, model right there. So assign labels to the verbal model above and write the algebraic model. So, all right, so what did somebody do on that one? What labels did you assign? What's the price per ticket?
$1.25.
So the 125, that's your first number. Okay, and then number of tickets, what's a good variable for that? X. Yeah, the book is using N because of number, but that's fine. Plus, what's the admission price? $5, and then less than or equal to the amount of money you have, which was 25. So your inequality should be 1.25n or x plus 5 less than or equal to 25. And then the next step was to solve that inequality and interpret the result. And you should end up with n is less than or equal to 16. And what does that mean?
16 tickets.
You can purchase up to 16 tickets. Okay. All right. Any question on the homework? All right. Let me turn that off and we'll get started on the new lesson.